Sharanam Bande Ramana Prestaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktidam Cha Kripamurti Narayanam Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavatanjaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tise Namaha Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmasha Nashaya Janava Pataye Namaha Gadadharam Maham Bande Madhavacharya Nandanam Mahababa Swarupam Sri Chaitanya Vinarupinam Panchatattamakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for receiving us today. Today is a special celebration, and we will try to repeat a little bit what we've heard from the Vaishnavas. Before starting, I would like to offer my humble Sanskrit Dandavat pranams into the lotus feet of Shri Guru Pada Padma Nitya Lila Pravista Om Vishnu Pad Astu Tarasata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, as well into the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravista Bhaktivedanta Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, and to the lotus feet as well Shrimad Premananda Prabhuji, Basanta, my brother, all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis that are here today. And today is a special celebration because it's the birthday of Vyasadev. So today we also have this appearance day of Sanatana Goswami, and we are starting today the 4 months we call Chaturmasya, means 4 months of we follow certain regulations that we will try to speak also a little bit, a few things that we had the opportunity to hear from the Vaishnavas. So Vyasadev, anybody knows who is Vyasadev? Ka?
Go.
So Vyasadev, it's a Shaktivesh avatar. What does it mean, Shaktivesh? Shaktivesh means that he receives the Shakti from Krishna. However, it's not an incarnation. There are different types of avatars. We have Lila avatars like Nrsimhadev, Varahadev, Matsya, Kurma, etc. Those are Lila avatars. We have Shaktivesh avatar. It means that they come to this world with the Shakti. However, they are not an incarnation of the Lord. That's why today we don't follow any special fastings like we do on other days when it's like, for example, appearance day of Varahadev or Baladev or Janmastami. In these days we have to fast because we are respecting the incarnations or different manifestations of Krishna himself. But today, Vyasadev, it's a Shaktivesh avatar. It means that he came with a purpose. But however, he came with the Shakti of Krishna, of Vishnu. And the purpose he came is because it was time for the people to start studying the Vedas in a different way. We all know the Vedas are, the word Veda means knowledge, and everything is inside of the Vedas. All the Sutras, all the Puranas, And Vedavyas, there was this time the, it was changing of a yuga. So in this yuga, the capacity to remember. Before all the Vedas, they came directly from Vishnu himself, who gave this knowledge to Brahma. Brahma, using this knowledge, he designed this whole universe. And then after that, all this knowledge was passed from a master to a disciple. Every day, like we sing this song, Krishna hoite chato, Krishna said, we go through the whole parampara, how all this knowledge was transferred from master to disciple until today. However, the human, like each yuga that is going through, the people are using certain abilities. So in this yuga that was coming, Vedavyas knew that the people were not going to be able to remember all the Vedas by heart. How did they do it? They will do meditate on the pastimes, and all these Vedas were revealed to them. We don't have that capacity anymore. Well, I don't know about you guys. No, I don't. So Vedavyas, what he did is divided the Vedas in 4. So I'm going to read them because he divided them in 4 sections, and he took the essence of all the Vedas and Upanishads, and he wrote the Brahma Sutra, so that everyone will be able to easily understand them. Okay? Then he wrote 54 Puranas, and they were also very difficult to understand. Then he wrote the Mahabharata, and within the Mahabharata we have the Gita Upanishad, which is another name for the Bhagavad Gita. And still, after he wrote all these Vedas, he was not satisfied. He was not happy. I think we all have been there, maybe at some point, that we have achieved many material goals, even though these things that he was doing is nothing material. But we have reached, some people, they finish the university and they got a good job and everything, but still they don't feel satisfied. It's still like something is missing. I think we all been there, that we achieve, a good job, something, studies, good grades in school, anything like that in our lives, and we still don't feel satisfied. And this same thing was happening to Vedavyas. So after he wrote everything, not right, but he divided everything, he was not completely fully satisfied. So at some point, Narad Rishi, who is the guru of Vedavyas, he went to visit him to his ashram, and he saw him and said, "What's happening to you? You have written everything, but you don't seem happy. You have done a great job, but you don't seem happy." And then Vyasadeva, very humbly, he said, "You are my guru. Please tell me, what should I do, or why I don't feel satisfied after writing down all the Vedas, all Puranas, everything." He said, "You wrote about Dharma, religion, about Artha, which is economic development, about Kam, sense gratification, and about Moksha, which is liberation. But you left something very important aside, which is writing about God and His pastimes. For some people, it's difficult to understand, and I can see it clearly. I think we can all understand this. Like, for example, in other religions, they consider God to be almighty, to be, they have like an image in their heads, because it's not really described how God it is. It's almighty, old man sitting at this throne, and commanding people, and if you don't follow his orders, he's going to punish you. So people have this kind of fear and wrong image of God. But if you tell them the goal is child who is running away from his mother because she's chasing him with a stick. And so people will be like, "What are you crazy? What are you saying?" This happens to many yogis as well, to many people, that they don't understand. There is this pastime, actually, cutting a little bit from the side, when Krishna is playing with his conquer boys, with all his friends. They are wrestling. So Krishna is wrestling with them, and then one of them put Krishna down on the floor, he sat on his chest, and he was holding him down, he pinned him down, and he said, I won, and then Krishna said, no, I won. Like, but you were down, how can you say that you won? I said, yes, I won because my nose was pointing up, but yours were pointing down, so I won. I was like, no, I won. So they started arguing, and Krishna said, let's go ask this Baba. There was this sadhu meditating in a cave, like nearby where they were playing. And he was meditating in there, like these yogis, they meditated in order to conceive the form of Brahman, the full Brahman of Krishna. So they came, and Krishna was like, hey, sir, can you tell who won? Is it right that I won? And the yogi was like, and then they started to pull his beard. Hey, tell us who won. And then Krishna, with his mystical powers, he just absorbed this Brahman, this yogi, into himself. And then the yogi went into this like spiritual trance that he saw everything. He saw Krishna. He saw all these manifestations, like a universal manifestation of God. Everything, he went through all this, and then Krishna spit him out, and then he was like this, it's like, whoa, what happened? And then Krishna is there, and then he's understanding that Krishna, this little boy who is pulling his beard, asking him to tell who won, is the entire creator for everything, and he's completely, he doesn't understand, and he's telling us who won, then this happens, to many people, that they don't understand, they cannot conceive that Krishna is just a boy, who has a mother, has a father who has done this, and he has other people, other guys, let's say, other incarnations who are in charge of maintaining, creating, destroying, everything else. His main duty is just to enjoy. He's the supreme enjoyer. So, Narada Muni told Vedas, you didn't write anything about this. That's why you're not satisfied. So far you've been watering the tree on each one of the leaves, but you haven't focused on the root of everything, which is bhakti. If you focus on bhakti, if you write about this, then you will find this satisfaction. You will be satisfied. So he knew, he told him what you need to do is that you need to go into deep meditation, and then you will get all these different pastimes into your heart, and then you realize this and you can write them down. So, who knows Ganesh in here? Can right hand side. Okay, so Ganesh is the son of Shiva. But Ganesh, like some people misunderstand, he's not an elephant. Like some people think. Shiva was really upset. I don't know the whole pastime, but
Parvati was taking bath.
Parvati was taking bath.
And she told, Shiva was meditating, and he didn't know he had a son. Because Parvati had the desire to have a son, so she made Ganesh.
Okay.
And then she told him that I'm taking bath, so nobody can pass. And so Shiva came back from meditation on that day, and he said, let me see my wife. And the boy said, no, you cannot pass. He's like, what? You are telling me that I cannot pass? Who are you to tell me that I cannot pass? And he's like, well, I'm the son of my mother, he said. So Shiva got upset,
and Shiva cut his head off. So, well, so be careful. No, but what happened is everything happened for a purpose, and now you will understand why all this happened. Shiva did actually cut his head off. And Parvati is like, what are you doing? He's our son. So it's like, oh, what are we gonna do now? Like, okay, there's an elephant there, and then they, using the mystic powers, they took the head of the elephant.
No, he said that it's like, okay. She was crying, like, give me my son back. He's like, here's our son. And he's like, okay. I give you the boon that the first animal, a living entity that passes, I give this head.
Yes, so they were there. So he took the head of an elephant. That's why he has a head of an elephant. And then, so what was happening is that Vedavyas, he needed somebody, because he was going to go into a deep meditation, into some kind of samadhi, and he was going to narrate all these pastimes that he was going to experience in his heart. So he needed somebody who could write them down while he was speaking them in this deep trance.
And keep up
with it, So he was told, Ganesh has like a good memory of an elephant. He's going to be able to process all this, and he's going to be able to write it down because he's the fastest.
He said, okay, but if you stop, then I will stop and I will...
Yes,
that's it.
Ganesh told him this. Ganesh a little bit arrogant, maybe, from his ego.
No, I think it was the other way around.
No, Ganesh told him first that he said, Ganesh first said, I can write it down, but if you stop talking, I will stop writing, and I will write no more. And then Vedavyas told him, it's okay, I can do this, but if you don't understand and if you don't realize in your heart what I'm speaking, then you're not going to be, you won't be able, you will not be allowed to continue writing. So you need to understand what I will be saying in your heart. And then Ganesh said, deal. And Ganesh took his tusk to use it to write down one of the first verses. I think it was like from like the 10th verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Ganesh was like, what? He got stuck in that. He didn't understand. So, he understood, okay, this man is no ordinary person. And, by the mercy of Vyasadeva, Ganesh was able to understand all these topics. So this is how it happened. Vyasadeva went into deep samadhi. He started narrating the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, and Ganesh was writing it down. That's how the Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavatam, came into this world. Vyasadeva, later on, he had a son. His wife was pregnant for a few years. And during
16.
Yes, I think it was 16. No, I think it was less, but there's always a confusion because it's written that says I think she was pregnant for like 9 or 11 years, but when the son came out, he was looking like a 16-year-old boy. But she was not pregnant for this whole time. And this boy we all know is Sukadev Goswami. So what happened is that it was time for like this all was happening like simultaneously in many things. So there was this king called Parikshit Maharaj who had been bitten by a snake, and he was cursed to die in 7 days. So they were gathering in the forest called Naimisaranya, and they were gathered like all the sages and a lot of people who were gathering there. And then it was at that moment when Sukadev Goswami came out of the wound of his mother. And then he ran towards Naimisaranya. Oh, I skipped a very important part, I'm sorry. So, yes, I'm sorry. When Krishna and Radharani, had left, they said to Sukha is the parrot of Radharani, they told him that it was very important for him to stay in here because he needed to narrate all these pastimes. He needed to give all this information. And he was like the only witness who was there to pass it on. So this parrot went into the mouth of Vyasadev's wife, and that's when she got pregnant, and she was inside.
I cannot stay in this world because it's not pure, so he went to hide, and the only pure place he found was...
Oh yes, it's also something important there. I'm sorry, I was not prepared. happened. It's a very long story. It has a lot of details that sometimes you miss them. So what happened is because Shiva already had the Srimad Bhagavatam and everything. So Sukadev, the parrot, he was saying, but I need to hear them so I can repeat them. And it said, he told him, if you go to Shiva, he will be narrating this to Parvati, so you can hide and you can hear this from Shiva, because you need to hear this. This is what it is. You need to hear it from a pure Vaishnava, so you can realize these things in your heart and you can fully understand, and you'll be able to share it with everyone else. So Shiva went into deep meditation and narrated this to Parvati, and Parvati fell asleep. And then, the parrot came and he started listening the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shiva was narrating. And Shiva was, "Are you there?" And the parrot, "Yes, I am." And then when Shiva finished, he opened his eyes and he saw the Parvati was sleeping, and he saw the parrot, and then Shiva immediately was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna kill you! Why are you hearing these things? This is like very sacred thing." So the parrot flew away, and Shiva was like, "Parvati, what happened?" And then Shiva was trying to chase the parrot, and Parvati said, "But didn't you say that the person who hears this Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure Vaishnava becomes immortal? So how are you going to kill that parrot if he heard it from you?" She was like, "Okay, you're right. You got a point right there." So anyhow, then yes, Sukha, the parrot, they went inside of, because he said, this world is full of, it's like in decay, it's full of contamination. I want to remain pure. He needed to remain pure for the purpose of narrating this to Parikshit Maharaj in the future. So he went into the womb of the wife of Vyasadeva, and he was in there for many years until the time had come. Then he needed to come out. So he came out, and he was looking like a 16-year-old boy who came. As soon as he came out of the womb, he took this form of like 16-year-old boy and started running towards the forest. And imagine, you have a boy, he turns into a 60-year-old boy, looking boy, and then starts running naked towards the forest. And then he was running towards Naimisaranya, because he needed to narrate this to Parikshit Maharaj. And while he was running, Vyasadeva was running behind him. "Hey, what are you doing? Like stop!" And then he was running. It said that there was a river with some girls were taking bath, and then he ran past them, and the girls, they just saw him, but they just didn't pay much attention. But when Vyasadeva came, they were like, "Oh my God, there's someone there," and they started covering themselves. And like, "Why you didn't cover when the other guy passed?" It's like, "Because he's pure. You're married, you have kids, so he is a pure person. He just came out." That's why they said, I needed to remain pure. Like as soon as he came out of the womb, he ran towards the forest. We finally came to Naimisaranya when he spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days. This is called a Bhagavad Saptam, where they speak the Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days. And it was the time that Parikshit Maharaj had. So he became, he got purified by listening the Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure devotee, from Sukadev Goswami. And then after that, that's how, we got all this Srimad Bhagavatam, how it was transcribed. With the years, many Vaishnavas had came to the duty of translating Srila Prabhupada. He put a lot of effort in translating the Srimad Bhagavatam. However, he managed to, everything is here. Whoever had the opportunity to read them, it's amazing, I always find them amazing. It's like, if I'm not wrong, there were like 13 cantos, huh?
You made until half of the 10th.
Half of the 10th.
And then his disciples completed
it. Gurudev was translating. Actually, it was was Tirtha Maharaj who was translating the 10th canto. He was every day. You can see him, and how they did is they will translate. Tirtha Maharaj would sit down and translate everything from Sanskrit to Hindi.
In Lithuanian.
Oh, in Lithuanian. Ashmunita gives. Pirma dalis. Oh, nice. So, Tirtha Maharaj was translating the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanskrit directly to Hindi, and then, all these translations he will give to Gurudev, and Gurudev will say, yes, this is good, take it to, for the compilation. But Gurudev, I remember, like, he will tell Tirtha Maharaj, you're right, in such a high level, so it's like, so, not poetic, but like, in a very high level of Hindi, people will not understand. You need to lower down your standards, because people will not understand such fancy words, such fancy Hindi. You need to make it a little bit more for the masses. So anyhow, many Vaishnavas were translating. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have everything. It starts by explaining all the different universes about the souls, how the souls come in here, about all the different planetary systems. Explains everything from the Patalas, the hellish planets, to the to Brahmaloka, which is like the heavenly planets, like the top one. And explains everything, and it comes to the 10th canto. With the 10th canto is all the pastimes of Krishna. Anyhow, yeah. Today we are celebrating the birthday of Vyasadeva, since he's the one who who made everything, all this digested in a way, divided and made it easy for everybody to understand. It was given today a celebration also, like, to call the Guru Purnima. Guru Purnima, it's actually in India even like a big day where it's even like a day off for many people, I guess, in certain places in India. And it's a great day to visit your guru, ask for his blessings. Back in the day, at least the times we had the chance to be in India for Guru Purnima, they will not celebrate it in Mathura, because thousands of people will come to visit Gurudev, and Mathura is a very small temple, not big enough to contain everyone. So they will go to Vrindavan, to a place called Ananda Dham, and which was a bigger temple, had a bigger temple room. And what they did is that they will put like ropes. Have you seen, like, sometimes in the banks or the airport that they have this like chains or these ropes like this, so the people will make a line? The whole temple room was covered with this. Thousands of people coming and putting garlands. They were just come. Gurudev was sitting in a Vyasasana, and they will come, put garlands, give some dakshin, some fruits or something, and just a small gift. And then Gurudev will take them and then give them blessings, and then the next one, like one by one we're passing, and Gurudev will have like this. Whenever he had like many garlands, then they will take them off, put them on the side. And I remember, like, let's say Gurudev was sitting in that side, and there was a window next to it. This one time I remember that Prem Pradeep was sitting down on the window, and he was taking all the malas, all the fruits, and put them in down, and then we were passing them because Prabhuji was sitting like outside there on a chair, a small plastic chair. He was sitting, and then when the people was leaving, then they would go to see Prabhuji, and then Prabhuji would put the garlands from Gurudev, and they will give them fruits to them. Then after they were offered to Gurudev, then Prabhuji will redistribute, the prasad, so people will leave very happy. It's something that would last for a whole day, They will sit down or they're very patient. And today is also the first day of Chaturmasya. So I will speak just very briefly. During this month, it's maybe now with global warming and all these things have changed, but back in many years ago, these were the times where it's the monsoon season in India. It rains a lot. So all these pilgrimages, all the pilgrims, all the people who would normally travel and visit different temples and everything, they will stop. They will avoid traveling so much because everything floods in India. Even the trains, sometimes they have to cancel. Even nowadays, because of the rain. So they will stay more in a single place for these 4 months. If I'm not wrong, who established the principles that we follow, those regulations during Chaturmasya, was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And I remember I got to ask a few times to Tirtha Maharaj, about the different fastings, like what's happening, like why we have to follow like the whole month. 4 months, no tomatoes, no honey, no sesame seeds, no eggplants, many things, that we have to follow. Like first month is no green leaves,
No pizza.
second month is no milk, third one
No yogurt.
no yogurt, and the fourth one I don't remember. I think it was like sesame seeds and eggplant, something like that.
No eggplant.
I don't like baklava, so I didn't really care so much. So, but
No burokile.
no,
For 4 months, no burokile, no kapusta also.
And Greek.
No Greek also.
So I was asking Tirtha Maharaj and said, well, it is explained in the Vedas that, and here, it's explained that the souls, they come into the world in the raindrops. There's a saying that the water is life, and whenever the water falls, it creates life, it sprouts life. You see after whole harsh winter and with a few rains, how everything turns green, flowers, trees, fruits, a lot of insects come and everything. And so Tirtha Maharaj was explaining that all the jivas need to be born into this world. They come in the rain and they go into different stuff, but these jivas are jivas that are very eager to enjoy, to satisfy their senses. So a way for us, because if we consume them, then it said that all these desires to enjoy, to satisfy our senses, sense gratification, increase a lot. So in order to avoid that, then we try to avoid certain things, so it will be easier for us to focus into the spiritual practices. So we give up something. It's like on Ekadashi, similar on Ekadashi. Our body weakens because we need rains, but our soul gets strong when we meditate. We leave certain things aside in order to focus more on our spiritual life. So he was explaining that's the reason. To me, it makes a lot of sense because in India it doesn't rain all year long. Maybe now it rains more than it used to. But in Costa Rica, it rains like 8 months a year. That's why people is so easy to get lost in sense gratification in India. In Costa Rica, Costa Rican rains so much, and it's one of those countries that the people they just like to party and go wild. And I understand, everything to me makes so much sense. It's like, oh my God, yeah. That's why it's so difficult to be like brahmachari in Costa Rica. Many other countries, in Brazil. What to say? Yeah, no, it's true. Brazil, Costa Rica, cemetery of sannyasis and brahmacharis. It's true. Is that true?
It's true.
And it's because of all of this. So during these months, we try to focus. cannot tell you. I'm not positioned, of course, and I'm not telling you, don't eat this, don't eat that. I'm not here to say these things. It's not myself. I don't follow, so I would not be able to tell you. I eat tomatoes like all year long, no problem. No problem. But yes, in India, especially like Prabhuji, he tries to follow. He's very strict with this, and of course the brahmacharis who live with him, they try to follow. Whenever it was Kartik month, which is the last month of these 4 months, Prabhuji, Prabhu will always be in charge, because it's the month where a lot of people will go to India to Vrindavan to enjoy with Gurudev, and do parikrama to all these holy places and everything. Prabhuji was in charge of feeding everybody, and of course, he was always sure not to include, like tomatoes and all this and all that, during these 4 months, until the last day. Rasa Purnima is the last day, which is the day it was like tomato fest.
We made pizza.
Yeah, we would make pizza.
Hari-Krishna Prabhu would make pizza.
Hari would make, somehow he would arrange to make pizza to feed 2,000 people. And everybody would just, they wanted, of course, pizza, And it was a tough day. We would start very 4 in the morning to start preparing the sauce for the pizza and everything. Started cooking since 4 in the morning, so we can serve around 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And yeah, to control, it was like a lot of people, because of course everybody is like, pizza, yes, of course, give me some. And but yeah, so also something I guess it's nice to share today is Gurudev was saying one time, he was explaining that before, on Guru Purnima, he would celebrate and honor Srila Bhakti Pragyankesha Maharaj. Then even when Gurudev started preaching in the West, which was in 1996, Gurudev will celebrate this, and up to a few years after that, he will celebrate this day by bringing like presents to Guru Puja, Abhishek to Srila Bhakti Pragyankesha Maharaj. But it happened one time in Badger, because it was during these days that later on it was a Badger festival was established, and Guru started going during this time to Badger. And then it was one time in Badger that he was celebrating Guru Purnima, and then somebody, from the crowd, somebody had a present for Gurudev, and then they wanted to give to Gurudev, but difficult because Gurudev was in his room, always unlocked. Like, not everybody had access to Gurudev. When you have thousands of people that want to see you, like they try to restrict them. Like how many people can go and see him and everything. So Gurudev was sitting in there, and then one lady stood up, and then she came and gave a present to Gurudev, and Gurudev accepted it. So when somebody saw this, it's like, okay, somebody else stood up, and they came and gave a present to Gurudev. And then somebody else, and then Gurudev said, then I understood, I cannot longer control. Everybody started coming and giving presents and everything. And then, Gurudev was explaining how important it is for all the people he was speaking to his sannyasis actually this time. He was speaking to his sannyasis, he was telling them that they have to be strong, that they have to understand that whatever comes, whatever gifts, whatever things, whether fame, money, or gifts, or things that come to them, is not because of their own efforts, but it's because of the mercy of the Vaishnavas, of their Gurudev. So Gurudev was explaining that he always, whenever he receives something, whenever he will get something, a donation or something, he will offer it to his Gurudev. Thank you, Nina. I'll give you 1 minute. So he will offer always, whatever he received, he will offer to his Gurudev. And Gurudev was saying, I know my Gurudev will not accept this, and he will offer to his Gurudev. And his Gurudev will not accept it either, and he will offer to his Gurudev and like this until he reaches Krishna. So he said, like he was saying, he was speaking to all his sannyasis and even maybe brahmacharis. He was saying, you will have to remain strong. Many things will come to you, but what is important is that you have to offer them always to Gurudev and to understand that this is because of the mercy of the Gurudev, of the Vaishnavas. So you always have to remain humble. And then that day, Gurudev was saying, this day I understood, I can no longer control and I need to take it, offer it to my Gurudev in my heart, and then, of course Gurudev would not keep thousands of garlands and fruits and, all this, he always used this to redistribute it back. Like even like the money, he built many temples in India, in Govardhan, and in Navadvip, and all for the benefit of all of us. So he was asking every time, like at the end of Chaturmasya, I'm now going a little bit ahead, but during Kartik, he will always ask, like, I'm so happy. He will always say, I'm so happy to see many people. Now when you go back to your countries, you can preach, you can distribute books, you can celebrate, and then next time you bring one person. So then next year, I'm expecting to have the double amount of people that we have here today. So each one of you should go and then come back with one more person. Let's say like this. And anyhow, today is a day that we celebrate Guru. We worship Gurudev. We thank for the blessings, for everything that he has given us. I think in here we are so blessed that we have Madhuri Kunja was manifested, happiness, everything. Everything was not possible because of us. It was possible because of the causeless mercy of Nanda Prabhuji and Gurudev, who left him in charge of taking care of all of us. So, yes, I offer my Dandavat Pranams to Gurudev.
Abhishek.
Okay.